stuff is so good. We're live, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Yes. The Jarritos is definitely good, man. I like that stuff.
Yeah, it is.
All right, let me know.
Expensive though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like $1 or something per. It's not too bad. I mean, I don't have like 3 or 4 a day or anything, so it's not too bad.
Right.
Man.
that Mexican Coke, boy, that's the best too. But it's
Which one's the Mexican Coke?
the one in the bottle.
What's it called?
Coca-Cola.
Like actual Coke.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's the real Coca-Cola, but they make it in Mexico, so they use Mexican water. It's freaking phenomenal. And I think they use maybe a different sugar.
I thought Mexican water,
Yeah, you go have that Coke and you tell me what you think.
But I thought Mexican water made you, not have a good day.
Well, you try it. Like I said, try it out. Remember, Coca-Cola is supposed to like clean off batteries. So,
well, I don't
you
drink
mix
Coke,
the water
so.
with the batteries, and your pipes are clean, bro.
Right?
No.
Yeah, I don't drink Coke anyways, but I hear you. All right, you ready?
All right, hold on.
Oh yeah. Just let me know when you're ready to.
All right, I'm ready.
Roll that beautiful bean foot. All right, here we go.
Shut up and sit down.
Hola. There you go. Nice little wake up shot over the bow for you. What's up,
Right.
everybody? How you doing? This is Dope and Dharma. I'm the street certified dope doctor Louis Delgado here with you on Dope and Dharma. This is We the Middle version of Dope and Dharma, and my partner Trinity Phillips, the Dharma guy, is going to explain to you what We the Middle is.
It's a show.
Put you on the spot there, didn't it?
Yes, it's a show where him and I are neither right or left, meaning we're not Democratic or Republican. We kind of flow with 80% of America, and that is we have a middle perspective, man, where we kind of have thoughts that are on both sides of the aisle, both conservative and liberal, and I like to call it reasonable. Is what I like to call it.
So would they. They think they're reasonable too, Trinity.
Okay,
And maybe they are. I don't know. Maybe we're wrong. I don't know.
Maybe.
Maybe the middle is wrong. Maybe we're supposed to belong to some sort of little fringe edge.
Maybe the 80% is just wrong, and the other 10% on either end is right.
Right.
Sure. Possibly.
Now you get it.
Good thing is, as a democracy, we don't really care about that. It's the majority. So
but that's why those little fringes say democracy is no bueno.
Well, good luck.
Anyway, people. So let's do this. So there's a lot of stuff has happened in the most recent days. So if they want to follow us and maybe catch other shows like The Couch Live or Dharma Time versions of Dope and Dharma, how do they do that, Trinity?
Well, if you want to watch it or if you want to participate live, you can go to Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch under Dope and Dharma. If you'd like to just listen at your leisure, then you can do that on any of your major podcasting platforms under Dope and Dharma.
Yep. All right. So let's get started, man. All right. So what's the first topic of the day, Trinity, in that little magic?
These are in no particular order, so I'm just going to put them up there. First one is China.
China. I'm surprised you spelled it like that.
China.
You should put it all capital letters separated. China. So I got some questions for you about this China thing. So obviously when the Bloods were in office, the Crips were just constantly talking about Russia, right? Everything was Russia. And the Bloods are all about China, right?
Right.
So Russia, since the Bloods left office, now that the Crips are in office, Russia has invaded another country, and China is flying all over the place with their little spy balloons. So maybe the Crips and Bloods ought to get together and just realize, look, both these characters may not be the best of friends.
Wait, are you trying to insinuate that a politician is less than saintly?
Well,
is that what you're insinuating? Because I call foul on that.
What I'm trying to say is why do we only have to have one enemy? I mean, like when I was growing up and when you were growing up, were we successful at having like multiple enemies at a time? I mean, do I just have to have one enemy? Can I just hit multiple people at the same time?
Still sitting out there. We just haven't heard from them.
We don't even talk about them anymore. No, but we don't talk about them anymore. The last person to talk about them was again the Bloods. We're talking about it, calling them Rocket Man and all that stuff, and he just shut up. Yeah, he just stayed quiet for a while. But anyway, all right.
little fella.
So first of all, what'd you think about this balloon that was flying over everywhere? What was your take on that?
That it wasn't as big of a deal as some people were trying to make it.
Okay, so you're
Like,
one of those that just say big deal.
I think that the fact that they allowed something to come in is potentially a big deal. The premise or the principle of putting something in our airspace, but as far as like the specifics, like if our secrets are so out there that a balloon going over the top of it can tell everything, we got bigger problems, right? Like because we have drones and things of that nature here.
Right.
I like to think if it's that top secret, it's a little bit harder to get to than just putting a balloon in the air. So the idea that it saw anything important, I don't think it did.
Well, they're saying it was listening too. They said it had it was listening to telephone conversations and all that stuff.
Yeah, but okay. Like they have encrypted phones. They have anything that means anything is like that. Not that easy to get a hold of. So the idea that it got anything that it shouldn't, I don't think that's a problem. However, I do see the principle of them kind of like testing the waters a little bit, right? Like poking the bear to see what it can get away with. And that worries me a little bit because I know China is getting their comeuppance right now.
Right.
They're trying to become a bigger power in the world than they currently are, which they already pretty much own everything.
I was going to say.
But they want to be
seen. They're the landlord. We call China the landlord.
Yeah, but they want to be seen as a bigger force.
Right.
So the idea that they're allowing things to kind of drift into our airspace is a little concerning. Like, okay, like I don't think we need to bomb them or anything, but we definitely need to like, slap them in. Hey, enough of that. Like we need to let them know we're listening. What that looks like, I don't know. But do I think it's this major catastrophe? Like, oh my God, it's got no.
Right. So forget major catastrophe. What did you think about it? The end result, though, like were you cool with it just going across, like waiting for in other words, let them whenever they're ready to fly it out of our area, then that's when it ends. Were you cool with that?
Well, we shot it down. But they wanted to wait
after it left.
Yeah, they wanted to shoot it. From what my understanding is, like, I'm gonna try to err on the side of I don't know what I don't know, and I think there's a lot that goes into making.
You're not going to give me any of your own personal feelings. You're just going to tell me what the news said.
I don't even know what the news said, to be honest with you. Like, what I'm saying is there's a lot that goes into making that decision, right? Because what if it is nefarious? What if it is got gases in it? We shoot it down, and it it poisons whoever it lands. So I think that's why they waited for it to get into like the ocean or whatever. I honestly don't really give a shit. Like out of like the top 10 things that I got to worry about today, a balloon from China is like not even on the list.
The whole country was giving a shit though. Everybody was watching.
Though I think the people who have voices and microphones were giving a shit because you go to Publix and grab a sub.
Everybody was talking about. Where the hell were you?
We go to different Publixes. Then.
We definitely have a different. Everybody was talking
around,
about
nobody gives two shits about a balloon.
There's a million memes out there. There's a million jokes about.
Jokes are out
talking
there.
about it.
But real concern? Nah, I didn't meet anybody that had. I'm
not asking real concern. See, here's the deal. You keep on thinking. I'm asking. Are you paranoid, Trina? Are you concerned? No, I'm just asking what you felt about it. And I guess the answer is
nothing.
I don't give a shit.
Yeah, okay. Pretty much.
All right.
Nothing.
All right. So here's my thought on this. First of all, I think there's this big double standard. And forget the Crips blood double standard. I'm talking about a double standard. Like if I'm flying a drone in the wrong airspace, they're shooting the shit down. They don't care if there's gas attached to it or I have some anthrax attached to it or anything. They're shooting the shit down. A matter of fact, you just fly a little Cessna or anything you want into the wrong airspace. Do you not think they'll shoot it down?
I think there's a difference between Louis getting in his thing and another country. One's an act of war and one is I'm
just saying. Oh, so you're thinking it would have been an act of war if we would have blew it up in our country compared to over water? So that's the war definition, water or land?
Consider it. No, I think it was the timing. I don't think it was the land or whatever that stopped.
There was no doubt we were going to shoot it down regardless.
Maybe. I don't know.
No, I mean that's what Biden said. So now I'm going to take him at his word. He says from moment one we're shooting down. We just have to assess when. That's it.
Right.
So if shooting it down is the act of war, that was already going to happen. The point is that nobody is allowed to fly where you're not allowed to fly. You're not even allowed to fish on federal property.
What restricted airspace did they go into though?
Apparently, they went over a few restricted airspaces. Apparently, they crossed several, and I don't know all the names. They went over your state of Montana for quite a while, which
Yeah.
I thought Montana only had like 10 people living in it. So if you're gonna shoot something down, I mean, I would have figured Montana's a perfect place. I mean, if you're gonna do it.
The governor wanted to. He came out and said that he wants to shoot. He was just waiting for approval.
Yeah, it's weird how I own the land here, but I don't own the space there. Because if I was the governor, I'd say, "Well, man, let's get our stuff up," But but here's some of the so that number one that bothers me because the precedent of anyone ever getting shot. I think this speaks volumes to all terrorists out in the world. Forget China.
Right.
I'm just thinking about anybody that wants to do something aerial. They realize, wow. Their level of concern with aerial assault is what it's going to do to the ground below, what I'm possibly holding. Here's what I do. I just stay out of communication. I just have a big enough cargo where they can feel like, wow, if you shoot this down, the debris is going to be all over the place and it may carry stuff. And I just keep going. As long as I don't go over land, they're not going to shoot me down, which I think that's a huge concern, especially since in 9/11, that's exactly what we did.
Right.
We shot someone down. We didn't care where's it going to land, what's it going to hit, whatever. We shot it down. So I call BS on what we know. So I'm not going to go on what we know because I don't think we know anything of what really just happened. I think that the administration or maybe even above the administration is keeping this all from us, and we have no clue what this is about. So we can do our little jokes, we can do our little memes, we can not care about it, but at the end of the day, there's something definitely to be cared about because everybody in the world and everybody in this country saw it, and it all does something to us, right? For instance, do you remember when the song Suicide Solution, well, you were a little kid, but you remember hearing about it, when Suicide Solution came out by Ozzy Osbourne, and the suicides went up, they blamed him. When video games show violence and then violence happens for real, we blame the video game. We constantly look to something and go, hey, that right there, that instigated it, right? We don't know what something like this can instigate and do in people's minds. So it's a responsibility of mommy and daddy, Crips and Bloods, to protect us from stuff that is this troubling, because you cannot contain the message. There's no way to contain the message. He's trying to by saying it's not a big deal. We didn't get anything. It's it was a balloon. You know what I mean? We got rid of it. I don't know if that's enough. And then by saying that we didn't shoot it down in the colder waters because we waited till it got to warmer waters, that means you knew it was going to go to warmer. So you knew it was going to cross the entire states. Is that what you're trying to say, or you're just saying that in aftermath?
Well, that's how wind works, right?
It wasn't guided by wind. It was actually guided. It was following a track. No, their lie was that it was just it blew off course. No, it was actually maneuvering, and the pilots could tell that it was maneuvering. So it's actually guided. So we knew that it had a path, So is not Washington D.C. close enough? So like when it started going that way, isn't that where Washington, D.C., New York City, these larger cities are? So when it's over Montana, okay, that's one thing. It came over, oddly enough, it came over an unpopulated area, tested the waters. And then it got to more populated area and closer to D.C., but not quite D.C., because they knew damn well if it got close to D.C., we'd shoot it down. I don't care if it was over a major city. So it went, but it just happened to maneuver its way south of D.C., south of New York. Didn't get anywhere near that northeast because they know New Yorkers at this point are wanting to shoot everything down that comes around them. So that ain't happening, right? It missed Texas because they knew everybody in Texas would have been out there shooting their gun up.
Does New York even have guns anymore? I don't think.
No, but they have, but I'm not talking about them specifically. I'm talking about that we as the United States are not going to let anything get even close to New York anymore. But it avoided Texas because they knew damn well everybody in Texas would have just, everybody guns to the sky. Let's just shoot up. And there would have been bullets flying everywhere. But very, very interesting path that it took. Very interesting path. And the consequence, we knew it was going to happen. And so the reason I wanted to talk about it today is because we've been talking about how the Crips have been talking about how somehow Russia and Trump were together, right? They had this bond. Well, ever since that, the Bloods have been saying, hey, Biden and China have something together. Right. And we've had a Wuhan virus that we're not allowed to call Wuhan virus, right? We're not allowed to call it the China virus. We're not even allowed to say it. It started there, even though I think that if you ask most people in the world, I think most people in the world would say, I think this started in China.
Yeah.
And they paid no consequence for this. Still to this day, we have zero understanding or any explanation. And then now we have this, and it just didn't fly over here. Apparently, they had balloons in South America at the same time. So this China deal has to get under control. Whatever China's doing and whatever they're trying to do, and whoever's related to China, we should be watching every person that is this closely related to China. Period.
Oh boy.
No, you have to, man. I mean, because something's happening.
You can start throwing them in camps like they did in
No, not Chinese. No, there's a difference between China and Chinese. So let's correct because I love Russia. Sure. I love Russia people. I love Russians. I love Chinese. I'm talking about the countries itself, and even Russians will leave Russia. Even Chinese people leave China. You know what I mean? So remember, Cubans left Cuba. They loved Cuba. They loved being Cuban. They just didn't like the leadership of Cuba. Same thing's happening in South America with Venezuela. So that can happen. You can love the people, not the leadership.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm talking about. The leadership in China is very, 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 very sketchy. Unfortunately, this Crip blood war, this gang war that we got going on right now, it does not allow us to correctly assess the threat, is what I'm saying.
Well, hasn't the Xi Jinping, hasn't he cemented himself basically where he can never be even removed from office? I think they've done something a year or two ago. They passed something where he's basically, that's it. He's going to be the guy.
Well, there you go. Error number one: the guy has nothing to lose because he ain't going nowhere. Yeah. That's problem number one. But that's their business, right? But we control our business, and our business is allowing people to buy up certain properties, allowing people to buy certain businesses, allowing them to engage,
which is all owned by China now. Like when you go to New York, they own so much in New York. China. They own all these other countries.
Yeah.
People, they've been doing it for years, and nobody's really been paying attention. China owns.
The conspiracy theorists are. See, that's my point. The Bloods are. The Bloods have been saying China for a long time.
Yeah.
But we paint Bloods out to be these kooky, religious right, white supremacist people that because we paint them that way, we don't listen to them.
Yeah.
But they've been correct. They've been right.
Well, I think I first saw it on a documentary or something like that a couple of years ago. China is going into these countries in Africa, and basically the small country in Africa, it's not developed. So what China's doing is basically saying, hey, we'll come in and we'll help you develop it. We're not going to charge you anything. All you got to do is just give us a piece of the land.
All the minerals.
Just give us some ownership, and we'll come and develop everything for you. And then when the company, this is where they really stick it to them, though.
Yeah.
When the country says okay, so they're essentially signing away a portion of their country that's just not theirs anymore. Mm-hmm. And then when China comes in, they don't even hire their people. They ship in all their own Chinese workmen that come in, and they create these little cities there, and it's just like a little Chinatown in the middle of the desert, essentially.
Right.
And they're developing all this stuff. They come in,
workforce.
They do all their thing, and when they're done, they leave, and they own half that country now. It's they've been doing it for a few years now in Africa a lot.
Tremendous workforce. Remember, since the 1800s, that workforce has been the American workforce. I know there's people out there that want to believe that America was built by a different workforce. No, after slavery ended, the whole workforce was China and other countries, Latinos, China. There's been a lot of other workforce throughout the entire West. As a matter of fact, anywhere past the Mississippi, that was a Chinese workforce, by the way, 100%. Chinese and Spanish workforce and natives. They just
my whole point is just
workforce.
My whole point is just that they're doing it in other countries, and in this country. Right. They're buying up a ton of real estate. And when I say own, I don't know if people watching this understand what I'm talking about. I don't mean, you got a bunch of Chinese restaurants everywhere. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about they're owning corporations and big time buildings in New York is the real estate. They own billions of dollars of real estate in this country.
The most important thing that they own is they're buying mineral rights. They're getting mineral rights.
Yeah.
So they know that oil is what it is. And they don't have that. But what they do have is everything that it takes to make batteries. They own everything
all the computer chip stuff
that it takes to make batteries. Every mineral, every every partial product that we know we're going to need to make batteries, they own those mines.
They do have serious power, though. If you ever pay attention, like I think we're gonna maybe talk about the NBA a little bit later, but
Right.
in the NBA, everything is fair game except for China.
That's right.
Like literally, like they will all talk smack about anything they
About
want
China.
to. You got old boy trashing Jewish people and everything. Like you got tons of stuff happening in the NBA.
Right.
They mentioned one thing about China,
Yep.
boom,
Yep.
never again. One dude
Right.
got fired. Like they
Yep.
put the kibosh on that
Right.
immediately.
Again, you're even allowed to talk crap about Russia.
Yeah.
You
Just
know?
don't say anything about China, though.
It's not China. So,
Dude, they had Top Gun got rid of the when they redid the movie, they had to
Yeah.
go in and do special effects to get rid of the
the
flag.
jacket.
They had like
Taiwan flag.
yeah, there's a ton of stuff that they have
They have control,
like crazy power that you wouldn't expect.
and nobody talks about it. Well,
No.
no. The mainstream doesn't talk about it.
No, they don't.
The only people talking about it are the people that we like to label conspiracy
fringe.
theorists. Yeah, conspiracy theorists. And all too often, those damn conspiracy theories come out to be right. I mean, here we are, what, 50 something years later from
Doesn't that bother you?
from Kennedy, and they were all right about the Kennedy deal.
Like, not to get sidetracked, but doesn't that bother you? Like, I don't even know how to. I truly don't know how to take that.
What?
So, for instance, I'm gonna throw a name out there who's synonymous with crazy.
Okay.
Alex Jones, right?
Okay.
Don't watch his stuff. I've seen some of his things on the InfoWars before he was deplatformed. And I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Like I can't watch him more than like 8 seconds before I'm just like, this guy's retarded. Like, what is this guy saying, right? However, he called years ago. He said that there's a pedophile island where rich people go to have sex with underage girls, and everybody thought he was kooky and crazy. Fast forward 5-6 years, Jeffrey Epstein shows up. Pedophile island, lots of rich people. It's like, okay, wow, that was kind of true. And then the other day I was watching a documentary about something. I don't remember what it was. And they had a segment of him. And he was talking about something that to me was so outrageous. I was like, dude, there's no way. Like, so I even, like with him, it seems like there's a smoke, there's a little bit of fire, whatever. So I Googled what he was talking about. And it was so outrageous, but it was true. It was goats mixed with spiders. Like DNA splicing between goats and spiders. And when he said that, I was like, dude, this is stupid. This is like, I can't believe he's even like saying this out loud. So I Googled it. Like my wife and I both actually were like, that's so nonsense. Like, how did he even arrive at that?
Wow.
When I Googled it, apparently there was a university here in the States that freaking spliced spider genes with a goat gene. And it's like, I was just like, I don't even know what's true anymore. And that's what bothers me is like, are we gotten to the point, man, where like these crazy things are actually happening?
Yeah.
And are we too jaded to even realize that? Like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know, because I want to call him crazy. I do, because he says things like he just lost $4 billion by saying Sandy Hook didn't happen. Like, I think that's crazy, and I think that's mean, and it's terrible to the families to think that that's a terrible thing. But then he'll turn around and say something else. It's like, oh God, that might be true.
That's the thing. I think it's like a gambler. Like, there's professional gamblers.
Throw enough
right?
stuff against the wall, it's going to stick eventually.
Yeah, there's professional gamblers. I mean, that's all they do. So they're hard to believe when they say, "Hey, man, I got a tip on a horse," and you're like,
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, everybody's got its trifecta, man. You just can't lose.
You're still wearing the jacket from 1978, brother. I doubt that that you got.
But the sad part, I've actually met those people because I used to do a little bit of horse gambling stuff because they have a track down in Miami.
Right.
They're right, like a lot. The problem is they're wrong, big, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, they have a lot of right information. If you just did those and backed away, you would actually probably do pretty good.
Yeah.
But their problem is they go that one step further and they bet it all on the wrong one.
Yeah.
But a lot of the information, because I used to talk to those guys, and they would, there's always this dude. It's like in the corner. He's dirty. He's smoking. Hey man, like I got it. And if you listen to him, a lot of times, man, like they're dead on. Like I had a guy predict 3 trifectas in a row.
Yeah. Wow.
For those of you who don't know, that's picking the first, second, and third horse to come in a row. But the dude was broke. And I was just like, how are you broke, but you know all this stuff?
They all got a system, bro, but
they
don't stick to their system.
No.
But they got a new system. They always got a new system.
Yeah.
But I'm saying that's how we treat conspiracy theorists, like degenerate gamblers.
Yeah.
Not regular gamblers. We treat them like degenerate gamblers.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing you can say that's truth. When look, sometimes they're going to say something that we need to listen to. But at least with conspiracy theories, now we have like networks that like dedicate millions of dollars to showing shows that these conspiracy theories are true, but they don't call them conspiracy theories anymore. You know, they call them all these other in other words, once mainstream is okay with it, they don't no longer call it a conspiracy theory. They call it
Investigative journalism.
Yeah. This
special report.
This island and that treasure and this, dude, we got shows dedicated to convincing my wife that the moon is made out of metal, that it's a spaceship that's just sitting up there. and I'm telling you, the other day, when I heard her tell someone else that, and I was like, wait a minute, are you seriously over there having a conversation and going to make these people leave this conversation feeling that you think the moon is a spaceship
or the earth is flat?
Don't do that, baby. We already live in Florida. We already live, you're already a white girl, now you realize that they've been looking at, white people from Florida as a certain way. And now you're just giving them ammo by saying the moon might be a spaceship. I said, baby, you're not allowed to do that.
Yeah. You know what? Now that we're traipsing off in this direction for a minute,
right.
I do want to point out the irony of it, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's kind of part of the problem with the liberal section of us controlling so much of the media. I think part of that, I think that truly is a problem, because if you really look at the reality of things, they cover so much of what I would say is just not true. Meaning, I don't think white supremacy is a big deal in this country anymore. I don't think racism is a big deal in this country anymore. I think we're so far past that, realistically speaking. I'm not saying that there are no racists out there. Of course. I'm just saying they don't matter anymore. Like the dude down at 7-Eleven pumping your gas doesn't matter. Like he's not controlling society. Right. The powers that be and the influential people, there is just no more. It's not around like it was. But yet they cover that incessantly. Like we're still living in slave trade days right now. Mm-hmm. But yet they ignore what looks to be real things, like the China stuff that's happened with the COVID and everything else, or back to the Epstein thing. Whatever happened to Giselle? Like, why was it Epstein was this big thing where they did documentaries and all this stuff, and then when Giselle went and got her trial, no cameras were allowed, and she disappeared. I haven't heard anything about it. Nobody had
you have to dig to find it.
Well, she had the black book. Like what? Like there's names. There's some things, and some of them came out. Like that dude, the Prince or whatever. He even came. Like so, there was a lot of fire there, and yet it just gone. It died down. But they're pushing this white supremacist agenda, which is fake to me. There is no white supremacy issue in this country anymore. That died out back in like the 60s and 70s, man. They're not around anymore. So it's just.
Well, they're around. They're just
they're in
like
their old folks'
home. They don't have the same. Well, they didn't. I'm going to say they didn't. I think all this bullshit that we're doing, unfortunately, I think is fueling it.
It's a good recruiting tool. I'll give you that.
It's a great recruiting tool. But it was dying. But I mean, we like to poke dying bears. I mean, we forget they got one last fight in them. That's like telling Mike Tyson he can't fight anymore. You go up to Mike Tyson in the airport next time you see him, and you just go up to him and say, "Man, hey, Mike Tyson, you're a punk."
That dude's like almost 70, and I still wouldn't tell him that.
Dude, he's stoned and in his late 60s, and he'll still kick your ass.
Yeah.
No. So you just don't go poke the dying bear. Let them die.
Yeah.
So you're right on that. So anyway, let's from what you said to the AOC thing, because it's relevant. It's the same. So AOC just goes and pops off. It gets a lot of media attention for her popping off because the media loves her. One reason or another.
Orchestrated, just so you know.
They love her. I mean, well, she's hitting all the points, right?
The
white supremacist points are a big deal.
Just the animation, it felt very rehearsed. It felt very like this is going to be a viral moment.
Everything about her is viral, bro. Yeah. I mean, the big picture that Omar brought in of herself as a child. I mean, you don't bring in a big picture of yourself and put it next to you while you speak if you don't think it's going to be a viral or dramatic moment.
Look how I've been brown my whole life.
Look, the bottom line is, look, they have a right to take a person off the committee that they want. They didn't take her off the committee because they're racist. She said anti-Semitic things.
A lot.
Why do you ignore the fact that she said mean things about Jewish people? She said things that offended Jewish people. And then your argument is, but you cannot ever do anything to her because she is a brown person
Yeah.
from outside this country.
Well, she
It's like-
checks more boxes.
Yeah, it's what boxes you want to protect. You only want to protect her boxes. Like whenever it happens to Latinos or Jewish people, oh, it's okay. We're allowed to be talked negative about and all that stuff. But man, you talk about certain other brown people, oh man, off limits. Off limits.
Yeah.
It's like what the hell, dude? That's why you got kicked off the committee. And you know what? You guys did the same thing when you were in office. You kick off some of theirs off a committee.
Sure.
Then they get in office. They kick some of yours off committee. That's called politics. That's called politics.
Yeah.
But I don't think you should be allowed to grandstand the way AOC did and they all did and call this country white supremacist country and call all the Bloods white supremacists. That should be illegal. That should be illegal. No, man.
I'm
No,
for
no.
free
Defamation of
speech.
No, that is not free speech. That
Fine line.
I think that crosses the line of free speech. I think that at some point, as a government entity, there's got to be rules to engagement, and you should not be able to because those things are real. There's people that really will die for those principles. So once you start hitting those, maybe Omar might not pick up a gun and die for it. Maybe AOC may not pick up a gun and die for it. But there's a lot of Crips and Bloods on the fringes that do
Right.
pick up guns and die for this stuff. And there's people in between that get shot up in the meanwhile, and cities that get brutalized in the meanwhile, and people that get beat up in schools in the meanwhile over these conversations because we allow it. I have a problem with that. I do have a problem. Somebody should at least step in, let her say it, but then they should say, by the way, you called him a white supremacist, or you called them white supremacists. Let's fact check you right now because that is an
That I would
inappropriate thing to
agree
do on the floor.
That
You
I would
said
agree
it.
with.
You had your right to say it. Fine. But let's fact check it and get the reality out there because nobody in this room has ever been confirmed to be a white supremacist. So you need to stop saying that.
Yeah, I'd like to have real-time fact checking. That'd be
Real
awesome.
time. But
Real-time
you know
fact checking.
But whenever there's a Crip in the office, all the fact checkers are off duty. There's like no fact check. Dude, you remember when the Bloods were in office, every 5 seconds, fact check
Yeah.
alert, fact check alert, fact check alert. Because Trump would always say something that made it easy for them to fact check, right? Dude,
Yeah.
these people constantly say things that are easy to fact check, and they're not fact checking them.
Yeah.
None.
Yeah.
So that's why we had that little AOC deal. As a matter of fact, this is a perfect time to go into that State of the Union because talk about fact checking.
All right, let's put that up.
Talk about fact checking. So you didn't watch it, right?
I did not know. I forgot I was even on until it
Me
was
too.
almost over.
Let me tell you something. Here's the. This is maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just
It
me.
is just you.
Maybe it's just me. But Trinity, if you would have saw it, if you would have, you know how when you get like, you said that they did it as a thing before, where they just took the words that a person said and who said it, and then you kind of made oh, this person must have said it because
Right.
of the
Yeah,
way you
yeah.
perceive that person.
Sure.
If you would just take the transcript, a lot of sentences, just a transcript of what Biden said, you would have thought Donald Trump said it.
I know he pissed a lot of people off with at least one thing. I saw a highlight where
Right.
he got booed a lot.
But I'm talking about when he's talking about the America First kind of deal. Anytime
Right.
he goes into America First kind of ideology, that was called that was a MAGA thing, right? Anytime you talk about bringing jobs back, because the people have been ignored and the people have been silent, they've been underrepresented. That's what Trump said. Anytime you talk about the border, we gotta get harder on the border because things are coming across the border, so we gotta secure that border. I'm like, okay, yeah, that's what they've been saying. And it was over, dude. It was over and over again. These things that if they didn't have MAGAphobia, and they do have MAGAphobia, they have Trump derangement syndrome and MAGAphobia. But if they didn't have Trump derangement syndrome and MAGAphobia, they would have been able to at least realize, all right, Bloods, you guys have a point on all these things. Way back in the day, you got points, but the way you say it, you just say it a little harsh. So if you could just soften up your tone there, Trump Meister, you're right about these things. You're right about your policies. It's just I don't like you.
Yeah.
But because they don't like him, then all his policies, white supremacist policies, yet the same damn white supremacist policies you just said you're instituting. You just said all the same shit that Trump said, except Biden said it slower and
less coherent, probably.
Yeah, he said all the same shit.
Yeah,
I don't
surprise me.
Trent, I swear, if you go back and watch that State of the Union address, you would hear a lot of Trump comments.
Well, I
Just
saw
it came out of Biden's mouth.
the one I saw that was supposedly a bold-faced lie was when Biden said that the Republicans were trying to get rid of
Social Security.
yeah, and then they booed him. They're like, no, that's not.
Yeah, they were
what
pissed.
said.
They were pissed.
It was all because our old guy Rick Scott wanted to like
One dude.
reevaluate it.
One freaking
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah, it was just not factual.
We all have jackasses in our midst. Well, look, every
Yeah.
team, I'm sure even your beautiful 49ers have one guy on the team that everybody looks at him and says, "Really, dude? Seriously?
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
I can't wait till you get traded, bro."
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, the guy's name is Jimmy G. It was
gotta
their quarterback. Bro, you had a whole team go, behind the scenes go, we gotta get rid of Jimmy G, man. Even what I mean? So you always have one.
Yeah.
And it could be, I mean, really?
Every workplace in the world has
But
that.
you can't color the entire people and get on that. And see, that's the stuff that when you're able to get on national TV and lie to your people.
Sure.
Right. And that's a big lie. You should not be able to go there as a president of the United States and say Republicans want. No, not you should have just said a Republican or name them.
Right.
Don't not name them because you think, oh, I'm being respectful by not naming them. No, you're being disrespectful. Let's call it what
you're being calculated.
You're being disrespectful. Yeah, and you're blaming all of them. So no, your ideology is wrong. Just say this person wants to do that. This person wants to do that, and even his own party doesn't want it. That's right. Then you unite America. By the way, because you're supposed to be the unifying president. So
is he still going on there? Because I don't see it.
There's no unification going on in this administration, bro. None. But how you unite them is you call out the individuals and you say, I know you don't have the support of your party, and make the party hiss and piss about that. Right. Instead, you called them all people that want to get rid of Social Security because it's all the same skies falling shit. I mean, it's always the same shit. I think they've been telling. I think the Crips have been telling us that the Bloods want to get rid of Social Security my entire life.
I remember hearing it when I was a kid. That's how I first learned what Social Security was. I think I was in elementary or middle school and I heard somebody say,
"Yeah,
stop.
Like, what is that? Just stop." They're not gonna get rid of Social Security, and if they did, somebody really fucked up.
You think?
No, seriously. No, nobody's going to say it's just because they know old people vote and old people get real scared. Come on, man. Don't do that to elderly people. Why are you constantly trying to manipulate older people, man? And telling, those Bloods want to take away your money and stop it. It's just like when the Bloods get up there and go, oh, they're all socialists and they want to take away your democracy.
They're coming for your guns.
They're coming for your guns. Stop. Yeah. Stop. Are there some that want no guns? Absolutely. There's some that don't want any of us to own guns, but that's never going to happen.
Never win.
Never going to happen.
No.
But then again, you never know, Trinity.
Yeah.
I'm sure someone in Venezuela say, that's what I thought. I don't know.
It's just weird, man. I hate the fact that the extremes are getting so much attention. Like there was a point in my life where we laughed off the extreme people. Like when we heard extreme, like whatever. But we're giving them microphones now, and like why? Like why did we switch to like give them all the power? It's just weird,
dude. Did they stop teaching statistical methods in class? Did they stop
teaching?
Did they stop teaching math? Because the president is the one spouting off the edge of stuff. It's the president. This guy is the president. He's not just the leader of the Crips. He's our leader. He's my commander in chief. I want to respect him. I want to follow him. I want to do all that because I'm a loyal, true patriot. Which means if you get the votes, that means more people want you, regardless of what I want. And I back that up. But bro, when you get up there and you lie like that, you're telling me I'm a freaking liar, and I'll say anything I have to say to stir the pot and to get my base, And you notice I only say Crips only use the word base when it's a negative thing. Sure. No, you have a base too, and that's what you did, man.
Of course.
And so this State of the Union, here's the State of the Union. We had a beautiful opportunity to reunite everybody because we were so broken at the end of the last presidency. Regardless of how good many people felt, the direction we were going, COVID destroyed the world. But then come the Crips. And instead of ever blaming COVID for destroying the world, it was Did you see how bad everything was? Because have you noticed this dude keeps on taking credit for building jobs? No, bro, we were all unemployed during COVID. You didn't build any jobs. You didn't create any jobs. People went back to work. You stopped paying the unemployment. They had to go back to work, man. You know,
that's not working
because the entrepreneur builds jobs. The entrepreneur, regardless of you as a government, whether you're a Crip or whether you're a Blood, you can't stop us from going out and saying, I own my life. I will use your system to make my money. That's what I do. That's what Trinity does. Regardless of whether a Crip or Blood is in office, we are going to be business owners. That's who we are. So you can't stop us from doing that. You didn't do it for me. There's nothing you did for me, Senor Biden. Nothing. So stop taking credit for the job market, because that wasn't you. And stop blaming the Bloods for the job market before you, because that was COVID. That was COVID. You know damn well that was COVID. Just like when there's a supply issue, you try to blame COVID. Same thing.
COVID really messed us up, though.
COVID messed up the entire world. But instead of being unified, he could have come in and says, all right, COVID destroyed the world. Here's what we're going to do. We got to be more unified than ever, because this is an American deal, not a Crips and Blood thing. Because that's exactly what it was. This was a world thing. And you could have come out as a world leader and really unified. But instead, you had the people chirping in your ear. This is, oh, finally. These underrepresented little 5%ers and 10%ers get all your attention. Well, what about the other 90% of us? What about the other? Because I don't fit those I don't check those boxes, bro. I'm a Latino. I check the box of the largest minority population. You don't give a shit about us. You didn't say, hey, it's either going to be a Latino or an Asian or a Muslim or a black vice president. You came right out and said, no, I'm going to give it to the 10%ers. They get it. Oh, okay. Okay. And then when you do all these other issues, you know, you didn't ask us whether you're straight, whether you're gay, whether you're trans, whether you're LGBTQIA. All you straight people need not apply. Trans. It's like, bro, why? When you do that shit, that's not unifying.
No.
I respect trans people. I completely believe they should have every right that all of us have.
They do.
But when you overstep and try to change little intricacies, and the same thing with color, when you make us focus on color all the time, when we were bred to no longer look at color, color is irrelevant. We're all the same people underneath. We all bleed the same. We all have pains. We are more alike than we are different. And then you come out and say, no. White people are inherently brutal and evil, and all of them are slave owners and come from slave owners. Therefore, they should all be taken off the face of the earth and should never be able to apply for higher jobs. They should never be first to be hired. They should never have equal opportunity. They should be in other words, when you do anything, they should be the last one that you think about, because everybody else should be. That's not unifying.
No, not even a little.
So this whole State of the Union was not unifying. It was just, look how great I am. And I'm going to say all the MAGA stuff from my voice and act like I've done all that. I was doing all that. You never even called it the Trump vaccine, even though that's exactly what it was. It was the Trump vaccine. And you know what? It's not even a vaccine, because vaccines prevent. This didn't prevent shit. And you as a government are still saying that it's a vaccine. Yeah. You still have people convinced. Dude, I was just in a meeting the other day, and they were convinced that the vaccine prevents people from getting COVID. I'm like, dude, everybody I freaking know is vaccinated and they all have COVID.
And the CDC is now saying this.
Stop.
We have to pay for it ourselves now.
Yes, just stop.
So nobody's going to be getting that vaccine.
God, that one dude got exposed. We did a show on it. A person from Pfizer. I guess he had some position at Pfizer. That's a dead issue, by the way. You don't hear anything about that
just
on the media. You have this Pfizer executive say how they're making a mint off it and they're beautiful and they're doing all these research. Don't attack Pfizer. Because Pfizer's our buddy. And it's like, dude, this State of the Union, this is what you should do. You should have just come right out and says, look, man, I got caught up in the hype. I did. I got caught up in the hype. I listened to some people that I felt were underrepresented, so I made some decisions based on that. I got 2 years left. And look, I'm an old man. I don't even know if I'm going to run again. I'm an old man. So I tell you what, how about I say this? I'm not going to run again. Therefore, every decision I make from now on, I don't give a shit whether you're on this side, that side, you don't like it. I'm just going to do it because it's the best for our country. I've been in politics for 60 freaking years. I've done nothing but been a yes man and done shit all wrong for freaking forever. I got 2 years to do shit right. And
No
I'm gonna
way
do
that's
it.
going to happen.
Dude, that would have been the most beautiful State of the Union. Dude, everybody would have got up and clapped. Says, I'm done with both sides. I had this meeting put together today because you Crips and you Bloods, hell with both of you.
The problem is he can't do that because he still has to work with them, and they're all part of the system. Like that's why I like some of the stuff about term limits or some of the funding things. I think some of those should come in effect because the system itself, and by system I mean the way the politicians are currently constructed. It's in their best interest to play dirty and be selfish. It just is. And it doesn't matter, if you come in as the outsider and want to like stir things up, as long as they have the ability to keep their jobs safe and continue to get elected and continue to have all the power, they're going to continue to revert to that. Like that's how it goes, man.
Yeah, but this guy's walking around like he thinks he's Obama, bro.
No, he's definitely not
Obama.
Obama.
He thinks he's Obama. He came in on the Obama card, and then now he's walking around like he thinks he's Obama. Dude, you're not. You're not Obama. So you can't. You're just not. That's just not the way it is. Anyway, enough of this. State of the Union, we know what it is. It's a mess.
It is what it is.
But we as people make it what it is. We as people make it productive. We create our own jobs. We create our own economy. You keep raising the interest rates because you keep giving money out and you keep making us broke. Yet we still carry forward.
Bro, how are eggs like $8 for a dozen right now? Like, that's insane.
It was actually cheaper to get organic eggs that I always get over regular eggs.
$8 for 12 pack, like a dozen eggs, bro. Like
mine was 5 something.
Even that, even that, like
I know.
Like, what the hell's going on, man?
Yeah. We all got to move to the rural areas. Forget I'm convinced the urban areas are just a bunch of crap.
Yeah,
the real deal is
what I'm doing.
Rural America is where it's at. You can have your own chickens. You can be self-sufficient. You can do all that shit.
You don't have to have a homeowners association.
And you mind your own business.
Yeah.
So what if you have a crazy thought? Who gives a shit? Who are you influencing? The other people at the diner? The other people at Mel's Diner? Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Why do we care? Instead, we go in these larger communities, build up these big networks with big TV stations, with big radio stations, and want to project our propaganda.
Everybody feels the same as I do.
Yeah, damn,
no,
dude.
they don't.
This urban propaganda machine has to stop. Shut up.
Yeah.
Just shut up.
I'd agree with that.
Anyway.
That's literally where I'm at. That's why I talked to you about it. Like, as soon as we can, when the kids are out, her and I are moving, man. We're going to the mountains and leave me alone.
Yeah.
For real. I'm just tired of dealing with it.
Well, you still have Wi-Fi. You're going to be on the show, right?
Well, of course. That's all I need is internet, man. That's it.
You'll have a better background. That's all.
Probably. All right. So next one, I get the one that I would prefer to talk about. Well, just the other ones, whatever. But Super Bowl, that's coming up. This weekend, right? Sunday.
Really? Did you seriously just do it like a question? Were you serious?
Yeah.
Weekend,
I
right?
couldn't remember if there was 2 weeks or 1 week in between. I couldn't remember. It used to be on my birthday, like every couple of years, but since they moved it out of January, like it's hard to keep track of for me.
First of all, I didn't ask you.
Now, if 49ers ran, I would totally know.
Before we talk about the Super Bowl, you never really answered me about the Pro Bowl.
The Pro Bowl?
Yeah.
What about it?
Were you okay with the did you prefer the touch football, or do you prefer the way it was?
I don't know how to answer that because I didn't watch it. So, but
it's real hard having a show with you when you don't watch anything that we're talking about.
I didn't watch the Pro Bowl for the last several years. It's boring. Like, who cares? It's the Super Bowl that matters, man. Like this other stuff, like, whatever.
It's more about the personalities, really. Pro Bowl is more about you get a deeper dive, a little bit of a deeper dive into some of the stars of the game, so that when you're watching football, because you always have helmets and you have their interpretation, right? But during the Pro Bowl, you get to see a little bit more of their personality. So if you like a certain personality, it's good to see it. If you don't, you're like, that rubs me the wrong way. Then you know that too. But either way,
I guess I'm just.
That's how I interpret that. All festivities, by the way.
All I care about is like, are you winning? Are you performing? Like, I don't care about your personality, man. I'm not trying to date you. Just win.
I do.
Um,
I tend. That's how I tend to like players based on that's why Dion. Whether he
sure,
was on a team I didn't like for years, and
right.
Dion's one of my favorite football players of all time because it was his personality that I was really loving.
Well, but even then, only reason why his personality was anywhere near what it was is because he was successful.
Well, they were all
If he was,
all the All Stars are successful. That's the point. They're all,
yeah,
that's why they're in the Pro Bowl.
sure.
In
But
their route, all of them are successful, and
what
you're
matters to me is
kind of
the
hoping that
skill.
more of yours are there than other people's, or that maybe you can get one of those over there. You know what I
Dude,
mean?
come on, man. The guy from the Ravens, the second string guy, was in the Pro Bowl. Like, come on,
He
man.
deserved to be there for what he did. Yeah, he deserved to be
Okay,
there. Yeah,
okay.
he deserved to be there. I don't think
I
he was
don't.
the
I
top, but
don't
he
agree
deserved to
with
be there.
that, but Pro Bowl, really? All these other
what he did.
people,
For
all
what he
these
did.
other people were above him, so he didn't deserve to be there. He got it by default. The 6 people above him all couldn't play, so they just here you go in there. It kind of loses some value to me when you're just picking people. Like, you jump
I
on
wasn't
him.
there.
You're a
I
Pro
wasn't
Bowler
there.
now.
I wasn't there.
You could have been. They probably sent you an invite. You just didn't check your
No.
email.
Yeah, it's
I
probably
got
true.
one.
That's probably true.
I got an email, but I just I was busy that day. Everybody, they're just handing them out. Anybody who wants to show up being a Pro Bowl. I don't know. I
Whatever.
flipped to the channels. I saw dodgeball.
You're
I
like
think.
Bitter Bailey. You're like Bitter Bailey today.
Nah, shit doesn't matter. Um,
But it does matter.
okay.
It does matter. It's fun. I love it. I
Um,
prefer, I'm one of the. I'm probably one. Again, I'm probably one of the few or the only one. I don't know. I actually like the touch football better than the flag football better than the. I didn't think I was gonna. I really didn't think I was gonna. I liked it better because I felt like the other one was already that way anyway. It just we don't get to see them. You know what I mean? I can no longer watch the Pro Bowl game. I haven't watched a whole Pro Bowl game for so many years because the
Same.
game part of it was just
Boring.
so boring.
Yeah.
But the flag was a lot more. First of all, I love the coaches were interesting. You got the Mannings, and that draws more attention, right? Because you have that internal little comedic timing that they have with each other, this little brother
Right.
against brother thing. But then you got to see everybody's real deal and their moves without pads, doing their little deal and how fast they are. And I don't know, man, let me tell you something, bro. You played flag football, I played flag football. None of us have done it probably since elementary school, whatever.
A long time.
But to watch how fast someone's running by you and you're able to grab that flag, because I remember how hard it was to grab that flag.
Right.
That flag is not easy to grab. They're running, and these people are like, whoop. It's like, yeah, dude, you got some hands, really, like, dude. And how quick some of these guys are, and how some people are just a little bit more dedicated to, like, you see the competitiveness in some over other people. Just like, I'm just here for the check, man.
And the only thing that I regretted not seeing was the skills competitions, because I do enjoy those. I enjoy seeing what, like, even in basketball and football, I enjoy seeing what they're able to do as far as their skill set's concerned. Like, not in the game setting where it's competitive, but like, hey, for the football, the fact that they can throw it 30 yards and hit this tiny little dot, like, that's impressive to me. Like, the show that over the years you've honed your, like that's why you're a professional.
Yeah.
Like, that's a professional throwing a ball at the moment. Like that, I kind of miss. I didn't get a chance to see it this time.
That was great. That was great. Loved it. Well, not great, because there was one aspect I was disappointed at with the skills challenge, and that was the pass. It's gotten too gimmicky.
Okay.
Where just oh man, what's his name? Brothers on defense, he's on offense. Diggs. He just didn't have it in him this time. I mean, and it was a piss poor performance, and you're just a waste of my time this time, Diggs. And that was unfortunate, because I think you're one of the best out there, but your competitive spirit just wasn't there. You were just absent. It was just, you were riding on ego, and that was disappointing. So I'm glad someone else won it. And then, but all those others, like you said, like hitting the that's phenomenal, bro.
Yeah,
like when you see some people just knocking it dead, bro.
Yeah, that's impressive.
Derek Carr was putting on a show. Derek Carr was doing great.
He might be going to New Orleans, by the way.
He needed to do great. He needed.
He might be going to New Orleans.
Yeah, I see that.
They're trying to work out a deal right now.
So I love that kind of stuff too. The skills challenge, definitely. The big linemen moving, the big. All the big dudes doing what they do, watching linebackers do what they do. I love that stuff.
I agree.
So that was pretty cool. But the Super Bowl is coming up, so here it goes. We got the Chiefs and the Eagles. Fly, Eagles, fly. You're taking the Chiefs, you said, right?
Absolutely, 100%.
All right.
Well, that's who's winning. So I mean, I'm going to take them.
and I'm 100% opposite. I'm going fly Eagles fly. I
But
think
hold on, no. But like, so take away the homer aspect of it. Would you still pick them? Like, remove yourself from the fact of it was born in Philadelphia, but just face value. Would you still pick them? Because
it's
I
a
don't
better
think you
team.
would.
It's a
I
better
don't think
team.
you would. I don't
It's a
think you
full better
would.
team. The whole team's better.
Because you like
Uh,
greatness, and Mahomes is great. I think you
No,
would
no,
want to see
no.
Mahomes.
I'm going to answer your question 100% honestly. If I was not born in Philadelphia, I'd be going 100% for Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
But only because of one player, not
Yeah,
because
well,
not
we all are.
yeah, only because of one player. But as a team, Philadelphia Eagles are a better team. They earn their spot better, I think. I think they played better as a team all year. I think they have put themselves in a position to ruin his day. However, I'm not going to be mad if Chiefs win because I do
Yeah.
want Mahomes
I'm,
to have rings, and I'd rather him
Yeah.
get them when we're not competitive.
right?
You
Yeah,
know,
I'm
when the Steelers,
100%
my
biased.
number one team is Steelers, so I don't want the other Pennsylvania team.
Yeah.
which
I'm
is my number one.
100% biased on this. I'm not even going to pretend that I'm not. 100% biased. I like Mahomes. I think what that dude does is magical. He reminds me of Jordan in the sense of anytime he was on the court, I felt like he was going to will him to victory somehow. I don't care if they were down 70 points. I would still think, oh, he's going to get it done. You know, and he usually did. And so I'm 100% biased. I like Patrick Mahomes. I love what he does. Like, I love the fact that I never know what I'm going to see when I watch him. He's going to do something crazy that he's not supposed to do, and it's going to go for like 80 and a touchdown. And so I want to see him get some. I want to see that celebrated. Like, I want good, skilled people who deserve the accolades to get them. I don't want to. I got tired of seeing the Trent Dilfers of the world getting rings, and so I want to see Mahomes get some more rings.
He did earn it though. Trent did earn it that day.
Yeah, okay. But
he earned it that day.
I want to see the
you got to
Chiefs
step
go.
up that day. That's the only day that matters out of your entire
Sure.
career.
Sure.
You know, is the day that you play in the Super Bowl.
I will argue that he didn't win it. I'm gonna argue that he didn't lose it. Like, he didn't lose it. No, he didn't win it though. The defense won it. Ray Lewis and then won it for him. He just didn't lose it.
I don't fault you for that view. I still think Trent's walking around with a ring.
He absolutely is. And Dan
and by the way, the next year, by getting rid of him, they didn't have a ring. They didn't get another one.
That's not
so.
Yeah, they did it with Joe Flacco.
They didn't get it with him. They didn't get it with that team.
Oh no.
That team could have got another one.
And Trent Dilfer didn't get another one either, though.
Well, no, that was a little easier bet, though. That was an easier bet. But Ray Lewis and big dude, they have Tony Siragusa.
Yeah, I think Ray Lewis got two, didn't he? Because he was on the ones that beat us. That was his last season.
Ray Lewis is a badass dude. I hate to like him for who he is,
sure.
Because he's a Ravens and that is just ultimate enemy.
And he
did
some sketchy stuff too.
But that defense, bro, I respect hardcore, hard hitting defense, and that Ravens defense was so Steelers that every Steelers fan has to respect that defense those years. Because it was such a Steelers type defense. It was mean hitting. They didn't care. They made you bleed. They talked shit. They all had attitudes and personalities. That's beautiful. We need more of that, by the way. Football.
Yeah. I think I'm going for KC for that reason, just because I like Mahomes. If it wasn't Mahomes, if it was like another team, I don't know how I'd feel about it. But I want to see Mahomes like get recognized. Like, I want to see him be successful. I think sometimes the successful one in the room needs to be successful, right? Like, I don't want to root for an underdog in this situation. Like, I want to root for the favorite. Like, I want to root for the dude who's just lighting things up. Like,
I think it's
congratulations.
I think it's because you're racist.
Probably.
I think you want the white guy to win.
Well, depends on who you ask. Apparently, they're the first two black quarterbacks to ever do it.
Yeah, but Mahomes is the white guy.
Okay.
He's just as much white as he is black.
I would agree with that.
So
but
you're a racist.
Yeah. But no, I don't know. I want to see him win. I want to see him get more. I'd like to see him get at least 3 rings in his career.
Yeah.
Because I think 3 rings would be justifiable, right? Like, if you don't, nobody's going to get 7 like that. Tom, that was an illusion. Like, I don't even know what that was. The football's been around for like 100 years, and that's only happened once. But I think 3 is the number where you're in good quality company right there. Not very many people are at. You've shown that you are not just a flash in the pan, but you're actually legitimate. So I'd like to see him get at least 3. And they don't all have to be with KC, because that's the thing. I'm not loyal to KC. He could go to anywhere, and I would root for him. Like I would like
Doesn't he
to
have
see
like a 10-year contract though?
I think so. Yeah, he's going to be there for a while.
They got him locked down. I think they locked him down for
They were
life.
smart enough to keep him wrapped up for sure.
They probably gave him ownership in that deal.
I would.
Straight off the bat.
Yeah. But
I love when he said these iconic franchises, like when they won, they were like, "Oh, these are both." I'm like, "Casey's nothing before you." Iconic franchise.
They had some time there for a while, though.
Dude, iconic franchise. Really?
Yeah, I would say that.
Who really?
Yeah.
Why? Why would you say that?
Who
did they have that is iconic?
Well, first of all, Joe did play there. By the way, Joe Montana. He took him to the playoffs.
Yeah.
Priest Holmes back in the day. You had
that makes you iconic.
There was I can't think of the name. They had a bunch of defenders
because they're not iconic. They're not iconic.
Okay.
When you say iconic, you're talking about the big dogs that have run NFL. You know what I mean?
They've had a few.
You're talking about 49ers. You're talking about Steelers. You're talking about.
Well, no, they don't have the chance. If you're talking about, if you're defining,
but
it
that's
as
what makes.
championship,
Yeah, that's what I'm defining it. Everybody keeps defining shit without rings. You can't define shit without rings. I'm sorry, just can't do it. Don't do it.
Yeah, well,
you can't.
If that's the criteria, then no.
That is
because
the criteria.
I think they've got what, like 3.
You can't call an organization iconic because of one individual or because it had a couple of good players. No, as an organization, you're only iconic as an organization if you got freaking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sitting in your freaking office. If you ain't got 4 or 5 sitting in your office,
there's only 3 teams.
That's it, dude. There's only like 5 iconic teams in football.
Teams.
There's only like 5.
There's
only
the Patriots,
like 5 or 6.
The Steelers, the Niners, and the Cowboys. Those are only 4 teams that have 5 or more.
Seriously, bro. You got to have some. You got to have some trophies to be iconic. I'm sorry. If not, you're a wannabe. You're all right. You did well. Keep going, young son.
Yeah, I can't argue against that.
But you're not an iconic franchise. It's not like when people walk in the halls of your franchise, they go, "Oh my God, I can't believe I'm in the Kansas City Chiefs." No, you're thinking, "Oh my God, this is Mahomes. This is where Mahomes." That's what you're thinking.
Yeah, I can see that.
You, Mahomes, are iconic.
Yeah, I can't argue against that, especially considering the fact my team's in that group. So it's easier to agree. Well, absolutely. We're in the top 4. So.
Well, you did it with more than one guy too. I mean, you didn't just do it with freaking Montana.
No, Montana, Young could have done it with Kaepernick if he would have just ran the damn ball.
And Young was really good, but we compared his ass to Montana.
Young was phenomenal.
Yeah. Young was really, really good. It's just we compared him to Montana, so he gets lost in that shuffle.
I would agree with that.
Just like I thought was going to happen, Favre and Aaron Rodgers, but Aaron just.
I still think Favre is better than Rodgers.
I do too. Even though
Favre was so much more fun to watch too. Like I enjoyed.
He's just a cool personality.
Yeah, he reminds me of like a neighbor I've had. Just like
he's a neighbor I currently do have.
Minus the stealing of the government. Minus that whatever that fiasco.
Allegedly. Let him have his day in court.
Yeah. But I enjoyed watching him play. Like I rooted for Favre. I'm not gonna lie. It was hard because I hated the Packers because they were a rival for us for so many years. Yeah. But when he left them, like I rooted for him so hard when he went to Minnesota. It was like 1 game away from the Super Bowl. Right. I wanted him to win so badly. Like I like Favre as a player. I wanted to see him, successful.
This Zen dude, man. This Zen dude is like he reminds me of that abusive boyfriend that doesn't even know he's abusive. He's like, you know what? I can't deal with this argument. The way you argue, I tell you what, I'm going to leave and I'm going to go out with my friends. But when I come back, I'll make a decision whether we stay together or not.
Oh, geez.
That's the way he sounds. He sounds like that abusive boyfriend dude is like, it's all on him. No, please stay. No, I'm leaving because you are loud. I have a perfect guy on TV that he reminds me of, Big Ed, on that stupid 90 Day Fiance show. Big Ed. Well, he's always blaming the female. Always. It's always her fault. It's always see how you're being. See what you're doing. You're being dramatic. Always blaming her. That's how Aaron Rodgers is. He's that annoying person that's constantly blaming everything else but himself.
Because he's 1-3 in championship games. Like he's not. I don't understand why he gets so much love. Whatever. Although, did you hear Mahomes did win the MVP? By the way, the voting came in yesterday.
Oh, did it? I didn't know that.
Yeah. I think he won the other MVP. If I heard it correctly.
Do you think he should have won the MVP?
it's kind of hard to say no. I mean, I think he's the type that can win the MVP every year. To be honest with you, I mean, because
I guess that's what I measure it on. It's always going to be okay. Is it Mahomes or?
Yeah, exactly. Like, who else meant more to his team? I don't think that's how I define it. So, for instance, to go ahead and break into our next topic, why not? There for probably about a good 10, 12-year span, I think LeBron could have won MVP every single year. Like, regardless of whoever else did well, is also nobody meant more to their team than LeBron did. Like, who was more valuable? He went to the championship, what, like 10 straight years, 7, 8, 9 straight years, like
with different teams.
Yeah, like how could he not be the MVP? Like, you wanted to go to the championship, he needs to be on your team. Period. It's like a dead giveaway. No matter how bad everybody else is around you, you put him on, you're instantly going to the finals. So for me, Mahomes feels the same. Like, I think if you take Mahomes off that team, I think KC's a mid-tier team at best. Him just elevates everything. But the reason why we have LeBron on the topic here, by the way, for those of you who are just tuning in, was because he just passed Kareem, I believe, for most points in the NBA, which I used to care about. They lost me, dude. If I'm honest, when they started doing political stuff, they lost me. That was it. Like, I tuned out, and it's hard to tune back in.
Yeah, that was the final straw for me too. But they had lost me prior to that when they started just like jumping ship as a group, as a unit, going to a different team. Yeah. See, I like loyalty. See, I'm not just like that about country. Like, I love being Mexican. I love being Puerto Rican. I love being American. Right? I love having blood from Spain, Italy, and all these things. I love that. I love that whole nationalistic kind of vibe. As long as you still love others, like that doesn't mean I don't like you. It just means that I love me, and you're supposed to love yourself, right? So I'm cool with that. Like in football, it's Steelers number 1, Philadelphia Eagles second. Baseball, Phillies number 1, Pirates second. But in basketball, it was the 76ers when I was growing up. And then, we had Dr. J. And then as I grew up, the two that there seemed to be the iconic ones, it was Lakers and Celtics. And because I come from an area of the world where everybody's a Laker, I went for Celtics. Because, again, I'm the black sheep. So everybody's a Laker fan in El Paso, Texas. All right, screw y'all. I'm going for Celtics. And so I was a Celtics fan. There was the Groovy Ghoulies. They were ugly as hell. They were the ugliest basketball team on the planet. And them little white boys would just go up there and win a lot. And I loved that. I loved how tough they were. I loved how they'd fight, they'd argue, they'd mash it up, man. They weren't boring as hell, and they were badass. And Larry Bird is just a mofo, bro.
Yeah,
I mean, how can you not love it?
People don't know how good he was.
So that was my team, in high school is Celtics, and that was my team, And then when it stopped being about Celtics, Lakers, and it started being about here's these 2-3 guys, and they go to this team, and here's 2-3 guys, and they go to this team, and there's 2-3 guys, and they go. I lost it. It started to become more individuals now. But what sparked it up was actually a good thing, Jordan, because Jordan came into the picture, and it was like, I'm not a Chicago Bulls fan, but I wanted to watch every Chicago Bulls game.
Of course.
Then you had Allen Iverson came into the 76ers.
Yeah, Allen Iverson's the man right there. Those are my 2 favorite players.
I wanted to see Allen Iverson play. So if Iverson's on the floor, I'm watching it. Yeah. But it was perfect because he was on the 76ers. But you also had like Rodman out there. Rodman was never playing on my team, but man, Rodman was just a badass. And so I started like an individual's play. And what I noticed in the NBA is that's normal. What I noticed in the NBA is it's very normal for people to be player fan rather than team fan. Yeah. Like if you're from Cleveland, okay. If you're from LA, okay. Yeah. If you're from the city, that's different. You can go see them, blah, blah, blah. But what if you're not?
Right.
Then it made it easier to follow players. And we saw what LeBron did when he jumped shit and went to different teams. It's like, damn, man, he'd go there and go, you give me that guy, and I'll get you a championship. And then they did good. Right. You give me that guy. And so then it became about all that. And it's like, all right, so it's not about loyalty. So what? I'm not going to follow just players like that. It's just ridiculous because it's the same 3 guys in the same top spot all the time. And we still have that. Like there's 10 guys that are always going to be like at the end. Because they bring their buddies with them everywhere they go. It seems like it's like they're expect if they don't win it, they're expected to, right?
Yeah.
And we just saw it right now. Like Kyrie left, and then Durant left. They both got out of Brooklyn. Yep.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they both left.
Yeah, I don't I don't, if I'm honest, man. So I grew up right at the tail end of Magic and Bird. Like they were kind of wrapping things up. So my basketball life really kind of took a hold with Jordan. Like that was my dude, man. And so when he left the NBA, I got to be honest, like my watching of the NBA dropped drastically when he left. It picked back up a little bit when like Shaq and Kobe and,
I can't believe I forgot Shaq. 'Cause
yeah,
Shaq
Shaq,
was a
Kobe,
man.
Elijah Wan, like Drexler. There was like some names there that I still
Good
paid
ones.
attention
Yeah.
to that I
Yeah.
enjoyed watching. So I was more of a casual fan. Like when Jordan was there, I was hardcore, dude. I knew all the stats. I was watching every game. Like I knew I was all about it. When he left, I turned into more of a maybe just above average casual fan, to where I still was kind of paying attention. I was watching some of the people, and then I don't know, I kind of fizzled out for a while. LeBron came in and kind of got me interested, only because the hype train was all about him when he was in high school. So I tuned in first just to see if he was really that good or not, and then turns out he was. And so then I just started kind of watching what he was doing, was just amazed. Like, damn, this dude's like doing things that I haven't seen. Um, and so I was all about him. Just like I wanted to see him really get some rings so he could be at least in the conversation with Jordan.
Right.
Jordan's always going to be my GOAT. And I don't really care. I'm biased. It's just never going
Right.
to change.
Right.
But I wanted him to be in that conversation at least. Right. And then I was kind of pseudo paying attention to him. I would watch like the playoffs or the finals. I wouldn't watch regular season. And then like during COVID, man, when they started doing that political stuff, when they started like just I didn't like the vibe. I didn't like what was being said. I haven't watched a single minute of basketball, playoff or otherwise, since that happened. Not even playoffs, not finals, nothing. I haven't watched a single minute,
wow.
and I don't really even care.
Wow. Okay.
They have completely lost me, and now I have no. This is how you can tell they've lost me. I watch PTI daily, right? Well, I don't watch. I record them and I watch them all, so I see every single one. If I can't watch it the day of or the morning after, like on the weekends, I'll just watch them all in a row to catch up. So I watch every single episode. I used to fast forward through baseball. I'd fast forward through NASCAR, and I'd fast forward through like just some of the stuff I didn't really care about. I would watch all the football and all the basketball. Now it takes me like 5 minutes to get through the show because the only thing I'll watch is football and like the headlines, just so I'm at least aware. Like I know Kyrie got traded. Like I want to know, I'm aware, but I don't watch like the 3-minute stories anymore about like what team is gonna. I just skip through it all. If it's not football, I don't really even care. I just fast forward through it. That's how I know I've left basketball.
You know what's funny is the other day I heard Bill Walton say that the NBA is the most diverse organization. The teams, the NBA as a whole, and I'm thinking,
I don't know if
bro,
I agree with that.
Bill, if by diverse you mean it has the most black people per capita, okay, but again, the Latino in the room is going to go, excuse me, we're very underrepresented in
There's only
NBA.
one Asian dude that I can think of, Jeremy Lin.
Asians are like, all right. So if you're talking diversity in a sport, there is no more diverse sport than baseball. None. They have white people, they have black people, they have Asian people, they have every type of person exists in baseball. Every single group is in language, is represented in baseball. So
what about soccer? Wouldn't soccer be up there? Because soccer's big everywhere.
Yeah. Hey, I'd give it up to soccer.
Because
I would say soccer is the most diverse.
Yeah,
I would definitely say. But MLS is probably not as big. But okay, yeah, I would go for that because that's every country.
Yeah, like they're everywhere.
So I take a back seat. The most diverse sport is soccer, 100%.
Because I be honest with you, when I think baseball, I think Spanish.
Well, maybe I'm a little biased to say.
I'm just saying, like, there's a lot of players from like the Dominican Republic. There's a lot.
Yeah.
But I can name quite a few, white players and black players as well. So I agree. There's some diversity in baseball. I think it's
just we have a lot of Asians too in baseball now. I mean,
they're coming from Japan and stuff.
Bro. They're good. But yeah, you're right, and they can hit and play. So it's weird.
I would say baseball is pretty diverse. It's definitely more diverse than
it's a hell of a lot more diverse than NBA, bro. To say that the NBA is diverse is like what?
The only thing the
What's
NBA does,
diverse about the NBA? There is nobody 5'10" in the, like, how many 5'10"ers? We're all underrepresented.
well, the only thing I think the NBA does well and is bringing in foreign-born players. They do well on that one. Like, there's a lot of players from other countries that are playing on our teams, but I'm not sure if I would label that as diversity or not. That's a debatable topic, I think.
Again, I think that's not respecting baseball and soccer. I
Yeah.
think you're out of your mind. And look, football is very diverse too. I don't give a shit all this talk as if it's not. Have you ever seen a team meeting? I mean, dude, watch Hard Knocks and watch the team meeting. You tell me who's underrepresented here? Who?
Asians
Come on, yeah, Asians.
and Hispanic.
Asian, like, dude, we know every Samoan on every team is a badass. And how is
We've
there
seen
not
the
more
biggest
Samoans?
dudes.
I would be in the island of Samoa just pulling them out like all day
Dude,
long.
Like, just side
Give
funny.
me anybody that says they're Polynesian, I'm putting them on my football team.
Well,
period.
a funny side note, right? Like, back in the day when I was in the gym constantly, little gym rat and everything, I used to get on my nerves, the Samoan people, because I had to bust my ass in the gym to be the size that I was and be the strength that I was. And I would watch these Samoan kids come in, just enormous mountains of human beings. Even the women, the grandmothers were bigger than me, like just massive human beings who would come in and throw up the biggest weights, like right on par with me. Like, we're doing the same weights. The difference is I've been working out for 15, 20 years, and this dude just rolled out of bed and was like, oh, I'll give it a shot. Like, yeah, I don't know why there's not more. Like, I would put a permanent scouting something in.
I'm sure they do. I'm
Like,
sure they do, and I would.
They are the biggest, strongest human beings on the planet, and that's anecdotal, but I don't care. I'm sticking by it because every gym I've ever been to, I'm usually the strongest dude, or
Yeah.
maybe not anymore, but back in the day, I was among the strongest people in the gym,
Yeah.
and I was always toe to toe with some sort of a Samoan dude. Like, they would
Right.
always walk in. I'm just like, what do they feed you? Like,
Right.
and another
You-
one that's a close second is St. Thomas. A lot of people I know from St. Thomas, even the women, they're just massive, huge, like strong. Like, one of my friends, he's from St. Thomas, and his like grandmother was like 6'5", built like a linebacker. And I'm just like, he said he blamed it on all the hills because there's a lot of hills out there, and you got to walk them and you get strong or whatever. I'm like, I don't know, man, but yeah, I don't know why there's not more Samoans.
a lot of hills in Mexico, bro, but we're still strong as hell. But
They
little
run,
5'4" guys, and
they run a lot. There's actually a race in Mexico, a marathon thing. They run in the mountains. It's like a 50 miler, I think. Those guys are nuts.
That shit.
Yeah. No, thank you.
Yeah. There's also one right at the border, bro. You run a lot.
It's a different kind of run. Different kind of motivation behind that one. No, but these dudes use like tires. These guys use like tires for their soles and running and stuff. They run like, it's weird. It's cool though. Anyways,
I just don't know, but LeBron. Look, you got the title, so there's a lot of conversation. Is he now the GOAT? And because he's not supposed to be a scorer, right? So no, you say no matter what.
Can a case be made?
Well, they're making the cases, but I mean,
yeah.
Do you see that you would ever what would he have to do for you to like cross over to LeBron camp over Jordan?
I don't think he could, to be honest with you. Like, maybe cure cancer or something. I don't know. Like, and the reason why is because, number one, like, first of all, Jordan was the most competitive individual I've ever met. Like, I'm impressed with that. I love the fact that he would make up stuff. Like, I would love the fact that you just, like, you blinked at him longer than you thought you should, and that's why he's about to annihilate your team tonight. I loved his arrogance. I loved his cockiness. I love the fact that he backed it up. I love the fact that he's 6-0. I love the fact that he did 3, left, came back, and immediately won 3 again. Was like, no, I'm still the best. I like the fact that there was never a question once he started getting to his heydays. There was never a question of his excellence. Towards LeBron, even his first few, he would disappear sometimes in the fourth quarter, wouldn't take the shots. Like, there was never a question with Jordan. He knew he was the best person. He was going to behave as the best person, and he was going to most likely win. That's all on the court. And then off the court, Jordan, like, he's the reason why NBA is as big as it is. Like, he took it international. Like, he did more for the game of basketball than anybody else. There might have been better winners. Like Bill Russell's got 11 rings, and Dr. J in his own right was handling his business, doing all the stuff. But Jordan was able to help them globalize it in a way that even Bird and Magic couldn't do. Bird and Magic did well here in the States with all the commercials and the way they were going back and forth.
Right.
But Jordan elevated it just to another level. So for me, that all goes into the being a GOAT, which is probably more than it should be, right? Like maybe you should just focus on the court. But so for that reason, I don't think that LeBron could ever pass him. I mean, unless he did something like Brady did, where you get like 8 or 9 rings or something, then okay, like, yeah, now we're gonna have to have a different discussion. But even then, Bill Russell has 11, and we're still not calling him the GOAT. I don't know of anybody that calls Bill Russell the GOAT.
Yeah,
No,
why is that, you think?
because he wasn't as dynamic. He just wasn't. He was on a loaded team. It was boring back then. He was taller than everybody. Like the NBA didn't look the way it does now. Like back in the day, you had like one tall dude. The rest of them were little white guys with tiny shorts. And so when you're like the tallest by 3 feet than anybody on the team, it's a little bit easier. Not to say he wasn't a great athlete, because he was, but it was different. In today's NBA, like everybody on the bench could have been a starter back in those days, and so it's a little bit different. And he didn't have the charisma, that everybody else did. I mean, we named the MVP award after him, so obviously he gets some respect. But yeah, I don't know, man. To be honest with you, because what he did was even better in the fact that he was a coach and he was a player coach. So, and he still won one.
Mhm.
So what Bill Russell did was amazing. But I know for me personally, it might be biased because I wasn't really old enough to watch him play, so I didn't experience and see
Right.
what he was
Right.
doing.
I think that's part of it.
It has to be. But even then, I saw Kobe play, and I don't think Kobe was the greatest. I don't think even Kobe was on LeBron's level, if I'm honest. I think Kobe is probably the most prolific scorer, but as far as all around, would I put him on the level of GOAT? No, I wouldn't personally. And I saw him play. So I don't know. I'm enamored with Jordan. Jordan is like a weird spot for me. Like we've met together, and even on my own when I used to hang out in Miami, I've met celebrities, a lot of them. Hung out with them. I played pool with Lennox Lewis. Like I know a lot of celebrities, and never cared. It's just people. There's only one celebrity that I would probably be awestruck, and that's Jordan. Because he has a. I know. I was eternally jealous, by the way. But there's just, I don't know. He has this weird spot in my mind, like, because as a kid, I didn't have a father figure either. So I kind of looked up to him in that way. I never met him, obviously, but like as a kid, that was like a male role model that I looked to, like, to achieve greatness. And, I read his autobiography. Like I studied all about him. So for me, I don't know if he'll ever be surpassed by anybody. And part of that's emotional and part of that's statistical.
Yeah. What would you have done to a puppy that that white NetJets hat that I got from Jordan?
I didn't know you had one.
Yeah, I have a white NetJets hat. One of the sponsors on his NASCAR team, and my puppy chewed it up.
Oh, that's horrible. That's horrible.
Puppy almost died that day.
I wouldn't have a puppy anymore.
That was
Give me the pound.
I was very, 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 very upset. A matter of fact, it's the only hat that I have that's chewed up, and I keep it. I'm not getting rid of that. I chewed up and down, bro. I got it. There's no way I'm getting rid of that hat.
Bro, all right, funny.
Because that's who he is. Is what I'm saying. That's who he is.
Real quick, funny story. This is how much he meant to me as a kid. When I was in elementary school, I was like 3rd grade now, 4th grade, I don't remember. I used to have to walk to school. It was like a couple miles, right? And it was like through neighborhoods or whatnot. One day I was coming home from school, and people had their trash out, like to get picked up by the trash. There was a trash can out, and as I'm walking by, I look over and I saw a framed photo of Jordan, and it was trash. But it wasn't like disgusting. You know what I mean? It was just something that like maybe it had like a scratch on it or something. Whoever it was didn't want it anymore. Maybe they hated, who knows? And it was just sitting there. I took that stupid thing out of the trash, and it was on my wall my entire childhood. like until like late middle school, it was on my wall.
Yeah.
And I dug it out of the trash.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't even care.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, he's that guy. He's just that. I mean, I hear people discussing it now, and I could, it's great, but I don't know if there's anything LeBron could do that would take it away from me.
I don't think so.
Jordan is just Jordan. I use it as an adjective. It's an adjective. Jordan is an adjective.
Yeah.
Jordan is a word. Jordan is a name. Jordan is everything.
Yeah.
And I'm not a basketball fan. It's still Jordan. And mind you, prior to him, Dr. J was my number one.
Right.
Prior to that, Dr. J, then Bird. Dr. J, Bird.
Yeah.
But I still could never. Bird could never beat Dr. J for me. Never beat Dr. J for me.
Right.
But damn it, man, Jordan came along, and that's just it. I agree with you. It was all about the attitude. To me, probably meant a lot more than anything else.
Yeah.
That tongue out and just be like
I'm
it
better
was
than you.
like a rudder.
I'm going to win. I'm going to beat you.
Yeah. I'm gonna beat you, and I'm gonna make you look foolish. I love that cockiness. I love that arrogance. And by the way, the weird thing is that you did it all like past tense. He is still competitive right now. And let me tell you something. What really solidifies what a great person he is when you watch other iconic people the way they're acting. You know, when I met him, I was with Emmett Smith. Emmett freaking Smith, who is iconic to
some people.
3 Super Bowl rings, the all-time leading
I'm not going to
rusher.
take away from his accolades.
He's an all-time leading rusher, bro, of all time.
Yeah.
Iconic. People love this dude. Trust me, when I'm with Emmett, and if I'm with Emmett in Texas, brother, that's even bigger.
Yeah, he probably never has to spend.
But everywhere he's iconic. Just like Daryl, our buddy Daryl, iconic. Yeah. But when even Emmett was like, you could see it in his eye, the way he talked about it. MJ is different. He's just special.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah. MJ is just special. And so, LeBron, you did great. Congratulations. But I'm sorry. And it's weird because LeBron will not talk about Jordan, really. He'll talk about, the greatest he'll say Bill Russell. He'll say Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. But there's a reason, LeBron, you're not saying Jordan. It's because even right now, Jordan will be like, what you say, young blood? I mean, let's wait. I'll even give you a couple years. When you retire, I'll still play you one-on-one and kick your ass because Jordan is still in shape.
Yeah.
Still.
Yeah. I mean, in theory, you could look at it and say LeBron is the GOAT because Jordan doesn't count. You know what I mean? Like, he's just above it all. Like, he's not even allowed to be discussed. So if you remove him from the situation as untouchable, then I would probably say LeBron's the GOAT.
You could say that Jordan is the greatest athlete of all time, and I bet you'd win.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely in the running for sure.
Who else?
Who else?
I think Jordan is the greatest sports figure of all time. And the only person that you can even put close to him, and I would at least have to ponder, is Muhammad Ali. That's it.
Really? You're not going to think Carl Lewis back in the day in the Olympics?
No. I'm going to think Muhammad Ali, and I'm going to think Jordan. Because what they did, dude, I love Bo Jackson, bro. You know I love Bo Jackson. I'm talking about because of all the shit you just said. The cockiness, arrogance, back it up, the world renowned, that changed the sport forever. The entire world watches them.
Sure.
Bro, I mean, only people like Muhammad Ali, Pele, fucking Jordan. Yeah, but even Ronaldo.
I mean, the world watches him, is what I was getting
at. But he didn't start that. Pele did shit in soccer.
Yeah.
That motherfucker wasn't supposed to do that. You just want to, that you can't play like that. Maradona, but even Pele to me is, but what I'm saying is Muhammad Ali, Pele, Jordan, those
Gretzky.
guys.
Gretzky's another name.
If I I'm a Mario Lemieux guy though. I'm sorry, but it's Pittsburgh Penguins. See, that's where I
can't stand hockey, but I've heard the accolades of Gretzky since I was a child.
Gretzky's great, but he played in a time where Mario Lemieux played, and so I was always on the Mario Lemieux side. So I just can't do that with Gretzky. But how they do the you see the shirts with all the biggest rappers, and because Biggie Smalls died, he's on there, but Tupac would have been on it regardless. You know what I mean? Biggie wouldn't have been on it if he would have lived. Biggie wouldn't have been on it. I mean, as a hip hop fan,
Tupac,
especially from back then, Tupac would have been on it live or dead.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. But you know how it has the faces. I think that's how it is with sports. Like you have Muhammad Ali, Pele. There's faces that you just see them. Everybody around the world knows those people. Dude, Jordan from the back of his head. You could go for the back of just the outline of the back of his head.
Dude,
that's why they do pictures like that, because they know him from just the outline of his freaking head.
How about this? Nobody nobody over the age of, like, I don't know, I'll be generous and say 30, can see the number 23 and not think Michael Jordan. Like, he owns that number. no matter the circumstance.
And LeBron, even you wore that number. You fake. Yeah, even you wore that number. You know why you wanted that number?
Yeah,
Because
he owns
Jordan.
that number.
Yeah,
Like
bro.
in anything. I'm talking like you could go to the grocery store.
That's
and
why
you just
LeBron
see
wears a
23
6 sometimes. Come on, man. You know.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean,
No way, bro. That number 23 is Jordan. Period.
yeah, period. I don't care what context you're talking about. I don't care what sport it is. I don't care. Like if you give me $23 in change, I'm gonna think, oh, Jordan change.
Yeah.
23 is synonymous
Yeah.
with him. He owns
Yeah.
a number.
Yeah. As soon as you say the date, you know what? What is today anyway? What day is this?
February 10th.
Yeah, you'll say 210 Jordan. You know, that's it,
Yeah.
bro. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah, he's different, man.
Yeah, he's definitely different. All right, so on the other, there's a couple little other things that we got to at least bring up. Number one, NASCAR's back, so we'll be back in Daytona, racing with Jesse Wuji Motorsports, a team that I am affiliated with. So wish us luck. See what we could do. If currently looking for sponsorship, as always. Hopefully coming to a town near you to race near you, and that's good. Part owners, so you have Jesse Wuji, you got Matt Casto, you got Mike Antonucci, and then the great Emmett Smith. That's the ownership for Jesse Wuji Motorsports. So I'm blessed to be associated with that, and that'll be fun. They'll be in town coming to town Thursday through the weekend to be doing that races. So we'll see what happens with that. The big news on that front that I really care about is, other than of course our own race stuff, is Kyle Busch in a Chevy. Kyle Busch left Joe Gibbs Motorsports. He's now in a Chevy. Car looks bad. He's bad. You probably didn't even see that he got arrested on a gun charge in Mexico. Accidentally took his concealed weapon to Mexico. Discovered it while I was in Mexico. So he's out. He made a deal with them or whatever. I don't know what the deal is, but he got back out.
Money.
Yeah, that's probably a lot of it.
Money.
But in a lot of promises, like I'll do this for you, because racing's big in Mexico. There's a lot of racing in Mexico. Yeah, racing's real big in Mexico. Anyway, that was interesting. So one of these days we got to talk about that concealed thing. Like, is it forgetful? I mean, because it's easy to forget, when you carry it everywhere. Like certain places you walk into, but when you travel,
maybe,
like when you're packing to travel, I mean, that to me seems a little bit harder to forget. I mean, because you make sure you pack everything.
I mean, for the record, I've never I've forgotten I always carry a pocket knife on me, just always. It's just I don't know. I think it's a dude thing. You should always have one.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And I obviously have a concealed permit, but I have an inside the waistband one. I've never forgotten that I've had that, like, ever. I have forgotten about the pocket knife, though.
You haven't accidentally walked. You're on the way into
No, I mean I have a firearm on my person that
I know, but there's so many events now that you can't have it. Like schools, like
well, that's the thing is I've never once forgotten that I've had that on me, but I have had to go back to the truck many a times to put my knife back.
Interesting. Okay.
There's been many a times I'm like halfway there, I'm like, oh damn it, I have to go back and put the knife in there just in case. And then I go there and I find out they don't care because it's a certain size. But I'm like, whatever. But I've never forgotten that I've had a gun on my hip. Just putting that out there.
All right, and then the last, another thing that's definitely on the more is 22,000 dead in Turkey, man.
Yeah, the earthquake. Wait, 22,000 or is it 2,000?
22,000.
Wow. Last I heard it was 2,000.
2,000.
Holy shit.
22,000 dead in Turkey, and the number keeps rising because it was 20,000 on one network this morning, and by the time you and I were going on the air, when I last saw it scroll, it was 22,000. So it just keeps going up.
Like, are you?
Incredible.
You're sure that's not even like that feels like a typo? Even like, you're positive? Wow, that was all in one day, or is that post with injuries and things of that nature?
I don't know,
because I know day one, just right off the bat, it was $2,000.
Yeah, it was like it was a low number considering 22,000, but it was already a high number.
2,000 people were just
it was like 1,900 and something when I first heard about it. When I first heard about it, and then like I said, I woke up and it's 22,000. I'm like, whoa! So now they've counted like missing. Well, because people are missing. So at first you can't call them dead; they're missing.
Of course.
But
holy shit, it's a big number, man. It's wow, for one event. You know what I mean? Like, just for one moment in time, took out 20-some thousand people. Like that's a lot. It's a big deal.
Right. Wow. I want to know what they're talking about. Though we don't know, but apparently, the Adidas is reporting the cost of the breakup with Kanye. It's going to be interesting what they say. How much that cost Adidas to break up. But interesting. But anyway, so it's sad. So to all the people in Turkey,
that's terrible.
My mom had just come back from there not too long ago, so she did reach out to the manager of the hotel that she stayed at. They're fine. It was apparently, luckily, it was in a more rural area or a different part of. Can you imagine if it was in?
It still took out 27,000 people.
Still took out,
It could have been that rurural.
Well, no. There's buildings where it also hit, larger build. What I'm saying though is there's the areas that she went to. Luckily, that's not where it hit.
22,000 people.
The Constantinople and stuff like that. There's some real old stuff that she went. There's a lot of historical stuff there. So I'm eager to see if any of that got damaged.
Yeah, that whole area is a cradle of man. Like that's part of the oldest civilization.
Yeah.
That's
nuts, so heart goes out to Turkey. God, man, feel for it.
I can't wrap my head around that.
It's a lot of people, man.
Yeah,
it's a lot of people. Wow. So anyway, there it is. Adidas unsold Yeezy clothing shoes could cost $1.3 billion.
I don't know about that. I think those are in projected sales, not actual out of pocket cost.
It's like when I used to be on the wrong side of the law, and they used to be like, "Oh, we got all these kilos off the border. Oh, estimated sale of $200 million." I said, "Brother, you get someone to pay me $200 million for that shit. Let me know who that buyer is, because that's the same amount of weight. I'm getting 20,000. You know what I mean?" So I'm like,
when I hear those numbers from like I think that's projected sales. Like if we sold everything and MSRP, whatever, this is how much it cost us $7.64. Yeah. So it's like, okay, you lost
the drug
$7.
game. They break it down to the gram. It's like, but you don't sell it all by the gram. When you're selling weight, you're not selling by the gram, fool. But that's the way they would do it. They would like project these large numbers. And you're like, nah, bro, you're getting all that information wrong. But anyway, any other things that we should talk about for you?
No, I think that's all we got.
I think we covered everything. We covered China. We covered the State of the Union.
AOC,
AOC,
Super Bowl, LeBron,
Super Bowl, NASCAR, LeBron, the turkey, a lot of information out there. I think that a couple things. I think that we need to do a show on conspiracy theories, Trinity. I want to do a full show on conspiracy theories. We still need to do another full show based on these women accusations. Do we believe them? Do we not? How do we walk slowly with that so that right away we don't attack the men, or right away we disbelieve the women? You know what I mean? Because they both deserve their respect, right? Yeah. Both the accuser, both the non-accuser. We also have to tread lightly because we don't want people that have been victims of anything to be concerned about how they're going to be perceived or believed, and how they're going to be treated when they come out. So that is probably one of the biggest things that keeps people silent from abuse, is how they're going to be treated or viewed if they did come out.
Sure.
Especially if the person is a liked person, a celebrity of some sort of stature. That's why when one comes out, 20 others come out, right? Yeah. Because the other 19, they didn't have the same bravery that one did, but luckily they did pick up enough bravery once one did.
Right.
Anyway, definitely have to have that show because I think he's firing back a little bit. So anyway, conspiracy theories, and that. So we got to put it somewhere. I don't know how we're gonna end up doing it, Trinity, but
we'll figure it out. We'll get it done.
We say that, and then it's just like when people tell me, "Hey, Lou, we got to get together." Yeah, we'll get together.
Yeah, we'll make that.
Yeah, we'll have dinner. Yeah.
7 years later.
See you later, brother. And then
my kids are in college now.
Yeah, there's this guy that I know that he went from being on the news to being in politics to being in real estate. He knows who he is, and to this day, whenever we see each other, says, "Remember that was a great boat trip we went on. Yeah, that fishing trip. Yeah, it was a great fishing trip." Because I'm talking about when he was still on the news. He was talking about, we got to go fishing. But I said, yeah, we'll go fishing. I'll go fishing with you.
Never gonna happen. We'll do this one though. These ones are some pretty interesting topics, so we'll have them.
All right, brother. All right, so you got any final words?
No, man. Just go Chiefs.
Fly, Eagles, fly. Adios, amigos. Time for a taco. Goodbye.